Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save up to $1,000 on Sleep Number 360 Smart Beds, plus special financing. Ends Monday. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Welcome to the Inspirational Living Podcast. Today's reading was edited and adapted from A New Philosophy of Life by John Herman Randall, published in 1911. The task set before every individual is this: work out your own salvation, physically, mentally, morally, and spiritually. The assurance of ultimate victory is found in the truth, for it is God who worketh in you. However, most of us would acknowledge that we aren't living up to our highest mental capacity. In our daily work, we aren't expressing our very best ability. When we undertake some enterprise, we often don't see it through with the power we believe ourselves truly capable of. How many times we come to the end of the week with the regretful feeling that if we could only retrace our steps and try it over again, we should succeed much better. But then there do come times to every one of us when we are lifted to higher planes of mental activity, when we can command our mental resources as we do not ordinarily. Then it is that we are able to do our work with a facility and ease, a precision and effectiveness that causes us to marvel at our own skill and power. After such an experience, we naturally ask the question, why have I been able to do so easily and successfully what at another time I would have done laboriously and most unsatisfactorily? If at some times I am conscious of possessing such powers, why not at all times? The answer lies in our ignorance of ourselves and the laws of our mental being. We all are able to tap levels of new energy at times, and that we cannot do so habitually is due to our ignorance of the powers with we are all endowed, and which need only to be called forth and developed. There is indeed no more laudable ambition in life than the ambition for personal power. Every success-driven person pauses now and then to ask the vital question: how can I become more powerful and effective? How can I command supplies of available energy adequate to my needs? I might answer by pointing out the ways in which some people have employed the power of the subconscious mind to develop themselves intellectually, and thus made possible a more effective and successful life. For example, when Voltaire was confronted by problems in his literary or philosophical work, which he seemed incapable of solving, he would submit the problem to his subconscious at bedtime, and more often than not, he would awaken in the morning to find the difficulty removed or his problem solved. In similar fashion, Coleridge talked of how some of his most beautiful verses came to him during sleep, after he had striven laboriously in his waking hours without success. All great writers bear witness to the same experience, and not only writers, mathematicians have often spoken about how they were able to solve mathematical problems while asleep, which they couldn't figure out during their waking hours. The same goes for many scientists. But it is not my purpose to dwell upon such specific cases. I desire rather to point out some of the general principles and ways you can call upon these inner forces for your own larger development. The first thing for us to realize is our close relation to the infinite energy from whence all power proceeds. That is, think of energy or force as being absolute and universal. It is the same energy that manifests itself in all the myriad forms of life, that expresses itself in various and wonderful organisms, that is manifested in the life of the trees, flowers, and grass, in the life of the animals, birds, fishes, and reptiles, and that finally reveals itself in humanity's complex and wonderful being. As human beings, we are naturally proud. We like to think of ourselves as the originators of power. We like to believe that we create energy of various kinds. But as a matter of fact, no person, strictly speaking, creates energy. We are simply a specialized transmitter of the universal energy of God's powers. Let me bring an illustration from the field of electricity. I once was talking with an early inventor of electrical appliances and said, "It's marvelous how you have been able to harness electricity and make it serve your commands." The inventor replied, "You mistake the facts entirely. Electricity does not serve me. I am not the master of electricity. I am its servant. Electricity is the master. All that I have done or can do is simply observe the phenomena, to study the laws, and then to create certain conditions by means of which it may please electricity to express itself. I construct this piece of machinery, and then if it pleases, electricity may manifest itself as current in my machine, but I am simply electricity's servant." In much the same relation do we stand to the infinite energy of the universe. We do not originate or create any energy whatsoever. We are but the servants, the instruments which this energy uses. We are the channels through which this energy is transmitted. We may, because of our individual powers, our personalities, our own wills, turn it into this channel or that channel. We may apply it wisely or misdirect it foolishly, but the source of all energy is ever the same. Infinite energy is in us, and streams through us, while we seek to give it adequate expression through the various functions of mind and body. Our chief concern, then, should be to perfect the mechanism and keep the organism in good working order, with soul, body, and mind so skillfully attuned as to provide a free channel for the noblest expression of this eternal energy. If we are to realize to the full our inner resources of power, we must learn to think more and more continually of our intimate relation to infinite energy. Realizing this, no one is limited in any absolute sense, and the possibility of tapping new levels of power is always ours, for the supply is inexhaustible. We need also to recognize that each of us is capable of the highest and best mental activity. Think for a moment of the wonderful way in which humanity has developed. Think of what we have accomplished. When human beings first came into existence, we found only a wild, trackless, undeveloped wilderness. All the arts and industries, all tools and machinery have since then been developed. Every institution that exists in the world today, educational, political, and religious, has been thought out and brought about by women and men. All sciences, all philosophies, all literature, the very language which we speak, are the result of humanity's creative thought. When we turn to achievements in special fields of human activity, we find in the realm of music such names as Beethoven, Mendelssohn, Wagner, and Bach. In art, Raphael, Michelangelo, Rembrandt, and Monet. In invention, Watt, Morse, Fulton, and Edison. In the realm of poetry, Homer, Dante, Shakespeare, and Goethe. In science, Newton, Galileo, Copernicus, and Darwin. In philosophy, Plato, Kant, Hegel, and Emerson. The lists go on and on. It ought to lift our hearts to the highest pitch of enthusiastic gratitude, just to think what these people have accomplished in the world. But what shall we think of other lives? Are these geniuses I have mentioned composed of exceptional clay? Do they belong to an exclusive class that the rank and file of women and men need never expect to enter? No, not at all. All people have like faculties, like powers, differing only in degree, but not in kind. In every soul there is the inborn capacity, the latent ability, that might, if opportunity and time were afforded, unfold into the philosopher, the poet, the artist, or the musician. Every person is in embryo a possible hero, or a prophet, or a seer, or a saint. All that is needed is the opportunity and the time for development. Human nature is the same. What one individual can do, or has done, reveals an open door that all others may enter. Whatever any person possesses must be a potential in all others. And when you begin to think of yourself in this way, as essentially united with the greatest women and men of history, when you begin to recognize that you are capable of the highest and best achievements, you are taking a long stride toward the realization of power in your own life.
Socks are the #1 most requested item at homeless shelters. Underwear second, and shirts are third. At Bombas, socks were first, made with comfortable details for everyday wearing. Then underwear, and shirts too, all designed to perfectly fit. At Bombas, every item you purchase means you're donating an essential clothing item to someone in need. One comfortable clothing item for you, one donated to someone in need. Bombas, comfort for all. Get 20% off your purchase at bombas.com/comfy.